As Sister Jamila lights her candle, she whispers a prayer passed down to her through over 40 generations of her family. The rising smoke carries her prayer high into the heavens. She is a member of the original Christian church, started almost 2,000 years ago. But what happened to this original church, and where do we find it? At that time, those believers in Jesus Christ joined together with the apostles, establishing the first organized church community in the city of Antioch. It is there in Antioch that they were first called Christians, as stated in Acts 11:25. Scholars estimate there are over 2,600 groups today who lay claim to being the church, or at least the direct descendant of the church described in the New Testament. As Christianity has inarguably played a considerable role in our history, it is important to understand the factors which have led to its current divided state. With the birth of the Church of Jesus Christ at Pentecost, the apostles made many missionary journeys. Over time, 5 patriarchates were established in Antioch, Jerusalem, Rome, Alexandria, and Constantinople. The apostle Peter was the first bishop of Antioch. 12 years later, he became the first bishop of Rome, leaving the apostle Paul as the head of the Antiochian church, while James, the brother of Jesus, was the first bishop of Jerusalem. Even though they were in full communion with one another, disputes arose over the adherence to the Old Testament law. James gave the solution to settle all doctrinal and moral issues through ecumenical councils, and the church flourished for 1,054 years. The first council was known as the Council of Jerusalem, as documented in Acts 15. In the history of the Christian Church, we find scores of such councils, establishing its canon laws, which the Orthodox regard as the faith of the apostles, faith of the fathers, faith of the Orthodox, the faith which has established the universe. Heresies, disputes, numerous wars, and much persecution constantly challenged the early fathers of Orthodox Christians. But because the church was unified, it continued to survive. At the Ecumenical Council in 325 at Nicaea, the bishops decided they needed a creed. After much prayer and some 90 years, what's known today as the Nicene Creed was finally written.
One Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the only God, begotten of the
Between the years 325 and 787, 7 meetings were held to establish the laws of the Church. These became known as the 7 Ecumenical Councils. The faith of the Church, at the close of its first 1,000 years, was the same. The doctrine, the creed, the government were all recognized as one, everywhere. This one church was the Orthodox Church, which has weathered many attacks. This cohesion, however, was soon to end. As the first millennium was drawing to a close, tensions began to mount between the Western Church, Rome, and the 4 Eastern churches. The bishops of Rome began to claim authority over the other 4 churches, on the claim that the Roman Patriarch was the only true successor of Peter. 2 giant issues emerged. First, Rome's declaration of the Pope's supremacy, and second, that the wording of the 700-year-old creed be changed. As disunity led to conflict, a cardinal was sent by the Roman bishop to slap a document on the altar of the church in Constantinople during a Sunday worship, excommunicating the Patriarch of Constantinople from the church. The final consequences of these tragic events was a massive split. The Great Schism occurred in the year 1054. Pursuing his claim of universal headship of the Church, the Patriarch of Rome broke from the other 4 churches, creating the Roman Catholic Church, independent of the other 4.